Hello everyone, good morning to you. My name is Spencer Walsh. Thank you so much for listening today on the show, the Mueller Report, where to go next, how we can continue after the Mueller Report finds no collusion, what's the strategy, we'll talk. Also, Michael Avenatti has been arrested, charged with doing some pretty serious crimes. Sandy Hook father, Jeremy Richmond, has tragically taken his own life, apparently, outside of Newton Town Hall, and Chuck Schumer's awful. All right, it's the show today. Thank you so much for listening. The long-awaited submission, in case you didn't know, we covered it on Newsflash with Glenn Bradford in extent yesterday, or 2 days ago, so go check that out if you want more details. But yeah, about specifically what was in the report. So, yeah, the long-awaited submission again of the Mueller report. It's come and gone at this point. And before anyone outside the Department of Justice has actually seen the thing, President Trump, his allies, and the anti-Russia great press have been taking some pretty big victory laps. And at this point, they deserve it. We know there's no collusion. We know there will be no new indictments. We know that Mueller did not say anything for sure on obstruction. House Democrats are becoming even more forcefully in the impeachment than they were last week in a chapter that took away way too long, ended on Friday. The country feels even more broken than it did before that, which is not really surprising when you have a kind of hapsy answer from Robert Mueller on the issue of obstruction. Well, we know for sure that it was, again, no collusion. That's a clear answer. But what people are really going to be debating is the obstruction charge, because it did not exonerate him, and it did not clear him. So it doesn't give you anything. It didn't convict him, didn't exonerate him. It's not gonna really bring a lot of closure to a lot of people. I don't know if you knew that. So, yeah, the idea that there would be an actual smoking gun tying Donald Trump to the direct knowledge of and complicity in the Russian campaign attempts to influence the 2016 election were never the most likely scenario. The Democrats' overwhelming faith in the Republican former director of the FBI to find the smoking gun proof of the desire to keep was proof of the desire to keep the process apolitical as possible. But ultimately, Mueller decided to kick the decision about Trump's criminal culpability to one of his political appointees, William Barr. So, while this report does not include the president committing the crime, it does not exonerate him, as I said before. Mueller wrote in the report, according to Attorney General William Barr. So, so that's the thing that really, I think, is causing some of the most discord in our country today, which is about, we don't know for sure if he is actually that doesn't put this thing to bed. Well, it's maybe he did, maybe he didn't. It doesn't exonerate him. On the other hand, it doesn't include that the president committed a crime. What does it do? What does it do? So consider the entire history of the United States, a history written by a laundry list of war criminals and crooks, from Richard Nixon to George Bush. Is to say, not a single American president has been removed from office by impeachment. The closest example we have is Richard Nixon, who gave an order to obstruct justice based on tape recordings and chose rather to resign than go through the impeachment proceedings. Nixon is the exception to the rule, and not much of one at that. At that time, Nixon was dealing with a Congress that remained overwhelmingly Democratic, even after his landslide win over George McGovern in 1972. If Nixon's Republican Party, a sadly less right-wing iteration than the one that we have today, have controlled Congress, there's no guarantee he would have ever been forced to step down, because there wouldn't have really been that hardcore of an investigation. So, and as we know, investigations are still ongoing, though, at the congressional level, as well as the Southern District of New York and at the state level. But for the most part, the Mueller report was a reminder that politics always triumphs. It's a great point there from Splinter's Paul Blust there. Right in that. It's a great point. Politics, again, it always triumphs, and the only way to get accountability in America, at least from some small form of it, is from the people. That's so true, because it's the best way to defeat your enemy is that you got to vote them out of office. That's the way America works. And it sucks that comes 4 years for a president, but I mean that's the most likely and the probably going to be the most successful way most of the time if you want to get that job done. So, yeah. I mean, we all know. Donald Trump, he's thrown children in cages. His deportation forces terrorize families all over the country. He's sided with white supremacists. He's imposed a quasi-religious test on entering the United States. He's an unrepentant bigot who curries favor with other unrepentant bigots. All of those, this is more than enough to justify a forced removal from office. But with the Mueller investigation over, it should be clearer now than ever. The only chance we have for that to happen is the 2020 presidential election. Very, very important to realize. Like, that's what's going to work. That's the only thing. I mean, sure, there is a possibility he's committed some sort of a financial crime in some way, shape, or form. But there is no point in hoping on that and planning for that, because A, we saw what happened, and B, like, we saw what happened, especially after what we just saw with the Mueller report. The Democrats should never hang hopes on getting Trump out on an investigation ever again. I hope if we can take away one thing from that whole Mueller fiasco, that should be it. Is that we cannot hang our hats on an investigation like the way we did with Robert Mueller ever again. It's just too dangerous. It just doesn't make any sense. Why would we ever want to do that? So, yeah, the next Democratic president, whenever that happens, will likely call for a return for norms and a period of healing or whatever helps them feel good about the country they've set him to run. Trump will never really face consequences for his actions, and it's probably going to be infuriating. So, I mean, I guess the only thing we do is make sure he loses as badly as possible. Yeah, but getting Trump out of office in 2020 should be viewed as more than a consolation prize for these past 4 years. It's an important opportunity to end the worst aspects of Trump's presidency, to protect the vulnerable people and to make the United States a more livable place for everyone. Outside of popular uprising, well, I mean, can't rule it off completely at this point, right? The best shot will be coming in November 2020. So start making your battle plans now, folks, because it's getting that time. And we need the best person, the most progressive person who's going to actually change, who's going to really bring change. And that would be pretty much essential. All right. We move on. We charge on today to another Trump-Russia-related story. Michael Avenatti. Trump and his lawyer and Donald Trump nemesis, as I guess you could call it, Michael Avenatti, was arrested and charged in 2 separate federal cases on Monday. 4 courts of extortion in New York and charged separate charges of embezzlement and bank fraud in California. So, yeah. Avenatti, who before this, again, was famous for the lawyership of representing, I guess you can't really say the lawyership, but representing Stormy Daniels in her really pretty contentious legal fights with Trump, tweeted on Monday afternoon he planned on holding a press conference on Tuesday to unveil a scandal that reached the highest levels of Nike. No one really cared. One of the major shoe companies obviously tied up for an ongoing pay-for-play scandal embroiling college basketball. Shortly after, Southern District of New York, in conjunction with the FBI, announced that finally Avenatti was actually the one tied up in the legal scandal. The official charges will be read shortly, but among the New York charges levied against a shady lawyer, prosecutors alleged Avenatti used threats of economic harm to obtain multiple million-dollar payments and secure an additional $1.5 million for his client. Additionally, charges say that Avenatti claimed to represent the amateur athletic union coach who had recently denied a contract with Nike, told the company's lawyers he would hold a press conference on the eve of Nike's quarterly earnings call to start the start of the NCAA tournament to announce the allegations of misconduct involving Nike employees. So, in particular, this is from the Southern District of New York. He says, this is from the Southern District of New York, saying, quote, Avenatti said, I'm not effing around with this. I'm not continuing to play games. You guys know now to know you've got a serious problem. It's worth it's worth more in exposure to me than just to blow the lid on this. A few $1 million doesn't move the needle for me. Wow, okay. I'm just being really frank with you. So if that's what's really being contemplated, then let's just say it was good to meet you and we're done. And I'll proceed with my press conference tomorrow. I'm not effing around with this thing anymore. So you guys think that you're gonna negotiate $1.5 million and you're gonna hire an internal investigation and it's gonna be capped at $3 or $5 or $7 million, just like it'll be done. I'll go and take $10 billion off your client's market cap. I'm not effing around. So that's him, I guess, talking to some sort of lawyers from the SDNY. I guess like wiretapped him or something. I don't know. He reiterated this again with a Monday afternoon tweet saying, quote, tomorrow at 11 a.m., we'll be holding a press conference to disclose a major high school basketball scandal perpetrated by Nike that we have uncovered. Yeah. Amazing. Good job, Michael Avenatti. Yeah, again, again, this is one of the more stupid things that the pro-Russia brigade on the Democratic Party has done, which is to give this guy a platform. Like, he is an incredible grifter. He's an incredible idiot. He said he's in favor of things like Medicare for all. He was going to even try and run for president. There's political articles that say Michael Avenatti is winning the Democratic primary. Like, what a joke. What an absolute joke. Like, how in the world you thought this guy was your guy? The guy who's literally sitting in jail for, like, you couldn't tell this guy was just a little bit shady. Like, seriously? Like, what an absolute awful, he's an awful person. He's a grifter. I mean, he's accused of beating up his wife on top of all this, and yeah, people should have cut ties ago, again, with him months ago. But the fact that, like, I wonder how, like, Lawrence O'Donnell, who's had this guy on a show, like, 30,000 times is feeling. Like, it's a pretty, he got cable news pretty badly. Let me just say that, especially at CNN and MSNBC. This boy they gave him a platform. Yeah. So in the California case, Avenatti was charged with one count of defrauding a local bank, one count of defrauding his own clients. The DOJ complaint says that Avenatti lied to his clients about the amount they received in a $1.6 million settlement. After receiving the money in January 2018, Avenatti allegedly lied about the date they should expect the money and use funds to pay off his personal and professional expenses, including bills for his coffee business, Global Baristas US LLC. When the clients asked where the money was when the fake deadline arrived, Avenatti allegedly claimed it simply hadn't been transferred yet. It's just also scumbag. He's not only attacking the other people in his case, like his opposition in his case, in awful ways. He's attacking literally his own clients. Like, this guy's never going to be a lawyer. He's never going to have a defendant again, hopefully, or a client again to represent and screw, hopefully. But yeah, if the justice system runs its proper course. So Avenatti is also charged with California filing to provide with providing a Mississippi bank with falsified tax returns to secure $4.1 million in loans at the time. Avenatti owed the IRS $850,438. He was also accused by his former law firm partner in February of committing perjury and hiding $1 million from bankruptcy court when the company went under in 2017. Excuse me. So that was all. That also followed a complaint last fall from Stormy Daniels herself, who said that Avenatti was repeatedly cagey, sound familiar, but when talking about money that supporters had donated to her to cover her legal fees. Somewhere in there, Avenatti decided against running for president. Yeah, like, it would have been funny now if he decided to run for president. So, knowing what I know about Michael Avenatti, I'm saddened but not shocked by the news reports that he's been criminally charged today. This is from Stormy Daniels. I made the decision to more than a month ago to terminate Michael's services after discovering he dealt with me extremely dishonestly, and there will be more announcements to come. I ask the media to respect my decision, withhold further public comment regarding Mr. Avenatti at this time. So yeah, that's her statement on that. So Michael Avenatti, finally, we're conclusive proof of what some of us have known for a long time. He's kind of a scumbag. I think more than kind of at this point. All right. Yeah, now really to an incredibly sad story out of Sandy Hook, Connecticut. Jeremy Richmond, whose daughter was killed in the 2012 Sandy Hook shooting in Newton, Connecticut, was reportedly found dead. outside a Newton town hall Monday